Welcome, everyone. I am Christine von Pander, and I'm currently hosting two clubs here in Clubhouse. Cookies from the Universe, which is here to help people navigate the current revolution with ease and stay in flow. And this club, I Have People for That, where we talk about business tools to run your business better. Today, my guest is Pascale Hansen. Pascale is the CEO and co-founder of Zeta, a boutique firm created to empower business owners to keep their businesses thriving and reaching new heights of success through education and integrated planning. Pascale is the financial strategist on the team and specializes in helping business owners extract money out of their businesses tax-free. Hello, Pascale. It's great to have you here.
It's great to be here. Thank you.
All right. So let's kick it off here. Who do you help? What kind of businesses do you help primarily?
Well, we really help business owners. So, what industry they're in really doesn't matter. So, we don't specialize in industry or business size. So, we really help business owners get to the next level. And what I mean by that is if they have a vision for growing their company and they're stuck in any particular area, that's where we can help them out.
All right. And what I did with this room, I actually changed the title of it a little bit today when I was talking to some other people, and they thought, you know what, how to get a team of mentors without having to find them individually for yourself so that you can help your business grow. And I thought that really does sound more like what Zeta is doing for business. So what is,
Yeah, yeah, I actually saw the change of title, and it's interesting you put that up there because just last week, one of my clients came to me and was saying to me that his new vision, what he wants to do is buy IT businesses, and he really wanted to leverage other people's expertise. So he wanted help in putting together a board of people with different industry experience, different talents, so that they could brainstorm together and come up with a plan as they buy and sell these businesses. So I was able to help him introduce him to various people with a lot of experience that would help him out. And he's now in the process of meeting with them and interviewing them. So they, in a sense, would be mentors for him so that they could do their due diligence together and just come up with a really good plan on how he's going to execute on his big vision. And so that's something we enjoy doing because we help our clients do that. There's no cost for doing that. A lot of things that we help people with, it doesn't come with a price tag. We're about building relationships and maintaining them. Most of our business comes from referrals from happy clients. So we do a lot that we actually don't charge for.
wow, you hardly ever hear about that kind of thing these days.
No, I think it's rare, but it's again, we're just really passionate about helping business owners with their success. And if you help people, it comes back to you at some point, not necessarily from the same person, but we just love what we do. So.
That's great. It's the whole karma principle, right? You put good things out into the world and it comes back, and it's not necessarily in a straight line.
Yeah, and I think too often, I mean, we've heard so many stories of business owners and sometimes startup companies where you don't have a lot of money to certainly waste, where you might engage a consultant because you know you need specific help, and then they come back to you with binders and reports of everything you need to know. That comes with a big price tag, and then they just leave you to implement it. Often that's a waste of money. Then there are binders that sit on a shelf. So it's great coming up with a plan, but it's really the execution that's key and making sure things get executed accordingly, or if something happens, that you can pivot, update your plan, and make sure you get the end result. So, sadly, too often I see a lot of people spending a lot of money on things that don't get executed. So.
Yes, I know I've been to courses throughout my career and had binders sitting on shelves or buried underneath underneath
Mhm.
other things somewhere in the back of my office that I never did look back at again. It was great information when I was in the room, but now and then after, it's just like you're just nose down, tail up, trying to make everything happen in your business. So that's really great to have that support for everyone. So why would I call your firm over others or your group over others? Because a couple of
I
other
think we're
outlets are doing that as well.
Yeah, and I think we're unique because we take a holistic approach to planning, meaning that we incorporate you as a business owner and then you personally. So incorporating your business planning with your personal plans. So why are you in business? Do you have a plan of 20 years from now that you're going to sell that business so that you can retire? So we don't do it in isolation. And we also sort of become the quarterback. And what I mean by that is often you know that you need various experts, a lawyer, an accountant, financial planners or advisors, and then you're quarterbacking that plan. And you have to vet all the different experts, whereas we act on that behalf. So put a plan together, we will oversee the plan gets executed, and then we have a roster of specialists that we can bring to the table. At the end of the day, we can often bring more than one expert. So we want to make sure that they actually get vetted by the business owner and that they have a comfortable relationship with that person. So I think that's how we're different.
Wow, that is good, especially the making sure that the expert that's coming in front of them is somebody that they can get along with, and the personalities don't clash or anything like that, so they can actually be productive instead of feeling that someone's grating on their nerves or something, when they're trying to get things done for their business. So that sounds wonderful.
Well, it's
um,
so important that you're comfortable with the person because if you're not going to share all the important information they might need so they can bring the best solution to the table. It's sort of like having a good doctor or financial advisor. You have to feel comfortable with them so you can be completely honest. And if you're not, it's just the right person. It doesn't mean that person isn't qualified. It's just not a good fit.
yeah, that you have to feel secure with who you're talking to and feel safe.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. How do I know when I need to call Zeta in, your group in?
Well, if you have a business problem that's hindering you from growing, or if you're in the immediate need of capital, you've been turned down by banks, and really what's stopping you getting from A to B is you need an influx of working capital. So that's not something we advertise on our website. It's just something I've been doing for a long time. And recently I spoke to a business owner who's been very successful in business. He had issues with his business partner, had to downsize and sell his business, and he really just needed an influx of capital. But because he was only part owner on some assets that he had, the banks turned him down. So in that instance, I was able to help. So I do have a network of people that are in alternative finance that could put something together for him. So the good news is if you need money, you can always get it. The bad news is, if it's not properly planned for, it can be expensive. But sometimes that's just what you need to get over a little gap until you can get business up and running again. So if you have a problem in your business, come and talk to us and we'll try to figure out what that problem might be and how we can help you overcome it. Sometimes that problem could be the business owner in the sense that they have too many ideas, they have a hard time focusing, or maybe something big happened in the business and they really need to have someone they can brainstorm off of and get back to their big dream or their vision where they can get back to being excited about what they want to do. Sometimes it takes a couple of conversations. Sometimes it may take longer and be working with a leadership coach or someone like that to get back in alignment.
Wow, you've got even that level of support. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what other services do you offer? What is the whole basket of services that you're offering?
Yeah, so we do business planning, we do insurance, we do. Can you hear me?
Oh, yeah, you're doing great. I can hear
Yeah.
you. Yeah.
Okay. I just heard something saying power off, so I don't know what that was. So we do insurance reviews. So we are brokers for all types of insurance. So life insurance, critical illness, group health plans, disability, any type of insurance. So we broker for that. So the way we do that, we look at the plan, we see what's needed in terms of a dollar number. We educate you on the different options so you can make an informed decision. We also do retirement planning for the business owner, which includes estate and legacy planning. And we also do introductions to different financial advisors. So, how do you want to invest your funds? And the one thing that we do specialize in is helping business owners get money out of their company tax free, either on a regular basis or in preparation for sale. So, we really look at the most tax efficient way to do that or tax free way of doing that. And that's one of our specialties.
That's one of your specialties. What other verticals or what other support is there to be offered from Zeta for a business?
Really anything to do in any business area, meaning things like things we don't necessarily specialize in. But if you have a branding problem, let's say, then we do work with some branding experts. And then we even break down the branding as in maybe you need a personal branding revamp, or maybe it's branding for your business, maybe it's marketing. Then again, we have vetted experts in that area. If we determine that that's the biggest problem. That's what's keeping the business from scaling and moving up. Then we'll bring those people to the table.
Oh, wow. Okay, that's good. So when do I know my business is ready to level up? What are some kind of signals or things I should watch for to make sure that I'm not holding myself back, not holding my business back?
Well, I really think it's when you have a vision for your company where you want to go. And maybe you just want that second opinion. Is it possible? What else do I need? But I really think comes to that gut intuition. You started your business for a reason and you had a vision for it being a certain size. And sometimes it's just really good to get an outside perspective of, is that possible? Is that viable? What do you need to know to get there? But I think you always have that nagging feeling. You either know that you're still passionate about your company, you still have miles to go and want to dream that bigger dream, or maybe you're ready to shut it down and start something else. So it really comes down to being really honest with yourself and then getting some good feedback on that.
Yeah, shutting it down or getting it ready to sell, right?
Getting it ready to sell. Yeah,
Yeah.
especially with the pandemic, there have been business owners who thought, they were going to retire in 4 years, and then like, you know what? This is being too difficult. I want to do something else. Now is the time. I've been stuck. I want to go travel. I want to do it now. I don't want to wait. And that's where the retirement planning comes in, right? So we do a retirement plan. What do you want to accomplish? What does that retirement lifestyle look like? And how much funding do you have? Like, where's the money going to come from? How's it going to fund it? What is the projected tax liability? How are you going to pay that off or avoid it? So that's how what is happening in the business ties into your personal life.
Aha, okay. So I'm just going to do a quick room reset. So for those of you joining us, welcome to the I Have People for That club here on Clubhouse. This is where we help you get your business the tools you need to accelerate your company's growth by presenting tools you can start using now. And our guest today is Pascale Hansen from the Zeta Group. Please click on Pascale's lovely image to check out her bio and follow her on this app. And also, if what Pascale is saying resonates with you, please click on the pinned link at the top of the screen to book a time with Pascale. It's complimentary and there's no obligation, but I know for sure because I've known Pascale for a long time and I know you will get value out of that conversation. So now we'll go back to Pascale. So, where are your offerings available? Where are Zeta's offerings available?
So we can work with anyone in North America. So Canada and the US, that's really our territory.
Well, that's fantastic. It makes it very, um, a lot less limiting, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
So, do you have any success stories you can tell us about people that Zeta has worked with, or the individuals that are part of the Zeta group have worked with that have had breakthroughs, or any type of success?
Yeah, so I mean, we have a lot of stories where, and what I love about what I do is, we always start with education. So we've had a lot of business owners who had this nagging feeling that they might not be able to retire, and then we do a retirement plan, and not only do they have enough to retire, but they actually can have a surplus. And when we, lower a tax bill from them where they thought they might be paying 50% in tax to it being zero, they're absolutely amazed. And often we have a conversation around, about giving now and seeing your legacy not being something that has to happen after you pass away. But if you have the funding, obviously you take care of yourself first. But if you can have a big vacation with your children, your grandchildren, if you can help them out financially without your own lifestyle suffering, that is such a amazing moment. And we've been able to do that a lot. And we help people overcome their fears. They might have thought one thing and there was something they didn't know, and when we tell them, well, it doesn't have to be that way. Put other ideas on the table they can get excited about. It's very fulfilling for us. So we have a lot of stories on lowering people's tax bills, being able to do things better. Sometimes being able to sell their company. It takes a bit of planning, bringing in other experts, but really building revenue in their company so they could sell it for a higher multiple, things like that. It just changes the size of their dream. So we have a lot of stories like that. Yeah, those are my favorite ones. You know, if a lot of people, they start their business and they have big dreams and get so stuck in working in the business and they get stressed out and they're just going day to day and never take a breather and uh, kind of remind themselves of what they could do or maybe dreaming a little bigger. And when you can show them it's possible, it's a lot of fun.
Oh, yes. It's a lot of fun. When you said taking a potentially 50% tax down to potentially zero, or anything in between, anything better than 50%, that's always a win. And so, always so eagerly anticipated and enjoyed once it happens.
Well, yeah, and sometimes when you show them that it actually doesn't have to be complicated, when you can show them a very simple strategy, and we have videos on this, but then they're always amazed. And I often hear things like, well, how come I didn't know this before? And really, the answer to that is because, we should be taught some of this in school. We're not. And, depending on where you are on that ladder of success, if you're in the upper echelons, these are things that, it's old news. They already know about it. But there's so many successful business people in that middle market that they just haven't been exposed to maybe the right consultant at an Ernst and Young or a KPMG or somewhere else where this was explained to them. And it's often because, one strategy might involve a lot of an accountant's billable time, a lot of lawyers. It's not necessarily in their best interest to show you a strategy that doesn't involve them because that's how they make their money, right? So things like that. So it's always fun to be a little disruptive. I actually had one client who I was sharing some ideas with, and I told him about some books he could read, never expecting him to actually read them, but he actually did. And now he's a client, but engineer by training, very, analytical and wanted to check everything himself. And yeah, it was a lot of fun. He read all the books and came back with good questions, and he became a believer. So Not that we expect our clients to do that. I've only had one person do it. But yeah,
Sorry, sorry about that. That I really like that story because there are people out there that it's not just, tell me, it's show me,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
And people expect, like you said, when you're not brought up in a well-to-do family where you've had exposure to all of the professions before you even, move out of the family home kind of thing, you don't know, or it's not even, you don't know what you don't know, I think.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, well, I had another client as well who, they're really value their employees. I spoke to them about doing a customized group health plan to keep as many of their employees happy, giving them what they want. They really didn't think that was possible. So we started off with a survey of all their employees, asking them what they really wanted from their health plan, considering what their spouse might have. How you have to coordinate benefits and things like that. We did the survey, gave them incentive for completing that survey, presented it to the business owners, and they were like, oh, we didn't realize that, X amount of percent of employees didn't actually value what we thought. We're giving them money to, for vision or whatever it was. And what they really want is something completely different. And then we showed them how we could put a plan together so that most of the employees were getting what they wanted. And it actually cost less than their existing program with better service. So, and apps on their phones and things like that. So there was no longer a need to call 1-800 phone tree, get stuck on a call trying to get help. And there was no fine print saying, we're coming in at this price and every year the price is going to go up. So, again, very satisfying. And it's all about education. So, instead of as a business owner guessing that, well, I think most of our employees want X, Y, and Z and paying a lot of money for it, well, let's find out. What do employees really want? And how can we keep most of everyone happy?
well, and of course now with the labor market being the way it is, you don't want to have to keep spending thousands and thousands of dollars on hiring and training only to have people leave.
Yeah,
That's a
so
huge
and
issue right now. It's more it that issue is the biggest issue now that we haven't had in our lifetimes.
yeah, and I actually have just last week I spoke to a couple of business owners and they were saying their biggest pain point was attracting and retaining good employees. Massive headache for them. And then something like a group health plan is definitely something that people look at when they're considering where to work. So you want to attract and retain. And also for the C-suite, we have a product where there's incentive actually for the C-suite to stay. So we've got critical illness policies where there's a cashback payment where the person whose health is insured can benefit. So, in other words, instead of it being a corporately owned critical illness policy and one of the people in the C suite where only the corporation benefits if that person gets ill. What will happen with our product if that person does not get ill for 10 years? There's a lump sum tax-free payment that gets split between the corporation and the person whose health is insured. So now there's an extra incentive. If that person was thinking of maybe leaving after 7 years, maybe they'd stay the extra 3 years because there would be a financial incentive to do so.
So I just want to understand the was that a critical illness policy or was that a key man
Yeah.
policy?
No, that's
Critical
the critical illness
critical
policy.
illness policy.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that also
Wow.
works if you're if you're a solopreneur, if you're a dentist or maybe a lawyer, maybe it's just you and one other person in the firm or anything like that, you can still have a corporately owned critical illness policy on you where either the corporation or you personally gets a lump sum tax payment. So not a lot of people know about that as an option. So there's a lot of different things that we can bring to the table.
So leveraging off what you just said there, is would that be something that could be a potentially used as a motivator for an employee that's going to stay, 5, 7, 10 years in the company before they're
Exactly.
ready to retire or something like that.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
when we're talking, those payments are fairly large. So one quote we did the other day, it's like $167,000 tax free. So it's big chunks of change. We're not talking five or $10,000. We're talking enough that it will be a good boost to your retirement, for example, or down payment on a home or anything like that. So we're talking big payments here.
Wow. So I like the idea of incentivizing people to stay and to be really happy about their choices. And now we've got so many people in, I will say, my age group, over 50 but not 65, and they've got all of this expertise in their experience that they've gone through, in their careers, and they're not done yet, and they need to continue, want or need to continue to work to make sure that they can still pay their bills and everything. And coming on board to a company at this stage of life and being able to have something like that to look forward to after a certain period of time, or God forbid something happens and you need to use it for the intended purpose of the policy.
Yeah,
um,
exactly. Yeah,
yeah.
and there are some employees that never really like the feeling of, well, why does the corporation have a critical illness policy on me where they benefit if I get ill? Like, what about me? What's in it for me? Like, I have to get my own personal critical illness policy. So it really is a way of splitting the benefit between the corporation and the person. So
Yeah. And is there just staying on this topic for a minute, is there a sort of a sawing off point or a tipping of the scales as to you know when it's a good idea to have that for someone? For example, would I have that on would I have that type of policy on every employee in the company, or
typically not. Typically, you would only have it on key people, meaning people who, if they were no longer able to work in the business for 3 to 6 months, it would have a massive financial impact on the business. So, in that case, the money would be designed to find a replacement for that person. So, you wouldn't have it on, your admin staff or something like that. It would be key people in the business, the C-suite, people who had the intellectual capacity or the unique skill set or the special supplier relationships that are critical to your business. So, yeah, not for everybody.
okay, good to know, good to know. So
Often, what we do for employees, if they don't have their own personally owned life insurance or critical illness, we can do it per employee if that's something they want. And then we remind people that it might be part of your health plan at that particular corporation, but if you leave, you're no longer covered. And so if you are considering getting life insurance and you get critical illness at the same time, you can get that critical illness as a rider on your life insurance policy. And you would want to do that because you save about 20% on your critical illness, and then you can get something called return of premium. So you'd pay a bit more, but if you don't have a claim after 10 or 15 years, you actually get all your premium back. So it's not just an expense where you're paying for it and there's no benefit. You can get it all back. Not with interest, sadly, but you do get all that money back.
and is that at that point tax free, or is
Yes,
that
it's
okay?
always tax free. That's
It's
always
always
tax free.
tax free.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay,
So I mean,
that's wow.
so when you think of yourself as a person, if you're building a strong financial foundation, you always have to answer the question, what happens if I have an emergency? How am I going to pay for X, Y, and Z? Either I pass away prematurely or I get ill for a long time. Where's the money coming from to pay for that? So in the case of life insurance, do you want your family, significant other to maintain their lifestyle? Or, what's going to happen to them? Who's going to pay off the mortgage? But if you can't work for a year, then how are you going to pay your mortgage? How are you going to maintain lifestyle? How are you going to get the treatment that you want? And then if you have a lot of money set aside, or you can pull it out of the stock market or whatever. If you feel comfortable doing that, then that's fine. Then you're self-insured. If not, you would want to get a policy. And then there's actually pennies on the dollar that you're paying. And the thing about getting life insurance, if you get the right type of life insurance, not term, but permanent, it's also an asset. So it's like having a supercharged tax-free savings account, because with the premium you pay every month, part of it gets invested and it grows for you. So you can actually borrow off the cash in a permanent policy the same way you can get a loan based on the value of your home. So if you have a home, the value keeps going up, but you get a loan against it or you get a line of credit against it. So you can dip into that line of credit should you need it. The same works with a life insurance policy. So it's really important to answer those questions and come up with the right numbers. That is your foundation for a really good plan.
Wow, that's a lot to think about.
Yeah,
And
and
then
the one thing that most people get wrong, if I can say so, and I wouldn't say it's they don't have the policy, but they either underestimate how much should be in their emergency fund or they skip that part. Maybe they buy policies and they want to invest because they know they need to invest. And then with investing, most people know you have to diversify, but people, human nature being what it is, they just want to invest in one type of asset. So they just love real estate and they'll buy more and more real estate, not having enough money for each rental property or whatever. So if it needs a new roof or something happens, they rarely have enough cash reserve. And then it just creates a lot of problems. So you really want to diversify across assets and really know what are your numbers? What do those numbers need to be? If you know that and you have a good plan, that's when you have peace of mind and you can have fun with what you're doing.
sorry, I had trouble getting my mic turned on. um, wow, for some people. I just when you were describing that part of it and how to figure out what those numbers are and to trying to come up with what that should be, that sounds like a pretty onerous task. I think once you kind of start down that road and you're doing it on your own, that it would be a little tricky, and I would be, for me personally, I'd be afraid of missing things, missing things that
And
should be factored
that's why you want to talk with a planner, because they'll see things you can't. They'll ask you questions. Even if you're a do-it-yourself investor, they, should be able to come up with plans for how you can do things a little differently to get where you're going faster, or to tweak a plan, or just to remind you about a lot of the basic things you should be doing every year, like update the beneficiaries on your life insurance policies. Have you done a will? Do you have a representation agreement? Do you have a power of attorney? A lot of people postpone doing all those things because, frankly, it can seem morbid and boring. But I can't tell you how many people, when I've reminded them to do that, they're like, oh, yeah, you're right. My ex wife is still on my life insurance policy, or I need to update my will because, yeah, I've remarried and I haven't done it in a long time. Just really important things. And I think you know, people don't realize how important a power of attorney is, and you can't even shut off your spouse's cell phone bill or stop that from happening if something should happen to them and they're in a coma. It just won't get done. Small things like that, which are a hassle, and it's just one of those things you got to check it every year and update the plan, right? It's a point in time and you want to make sure you update it. And if you change your mind, a lot of people kind of have in the back of their mind, they're like, oh, I think I'm going to be okay. I don't really know. And they keep pushing it to the back of their mind. But it's that sort of silent stressor that's there instead of knowing and being happy, knowing that you're on track. And even if something happens, it can work out, you know? So it's really peace of mind. And
Yeah,
peace of mind for the people you leave behind if something were to happen to you.
for sure.
Um, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm just going to do another quick room reset. So thank you all who are joining us live, and thank you to those listening on the replay. Happy to have you here. please do take Pascale up on her offer by clicking on the pinned link at the top of the screen. And also click on her lovely face to read her bio and follow her here in the app. And if you're enjoying the content, please do go to the very top of the page and click on the little green house to follow the club and get notified when new rooms get opened up. So to continue on, I wanted to ask you, Pascale, as well, what is the URL for the website? We've got your link pinned for your calendar to make an appointment with you and have a no obligation consultation. But what is the actual website for Zeta?
It's zetacorp.com. So it's ZADACORP.com.
I'm just bringing that up here.
And we have some case studies there as well if people want to look at some of the things that we do.
Oh, yeah. Oh, what a beautiful website. I like it. I always like looking at the ocean. So anything that's got the ocean on it makes me happy and calm, right? And part of some of the other things I do in my other club, in the Cookies from the Universe Club, is being able to be in flow, right?
Yes.
And I really like the idea of planning, plan for the worst and hope for the best. If you've got it all planned for any eventuality you can think of that may come along, and none of those things happen, you're way more relaxed, and it's easier to just to do, be in your business and be fully present in the moment, right?
Exactly.
When you're not worrying about that sort of thing. So
yeah, and that's exactly why we chose water, other than the colors and the colors of the ocean and the sky. But yeah, it's that calm feeling, and there's nothing worse and more nagging than if you have these great ideas of things you can do in your business and you really haven't taken the time just to sit and talk about it with someone. It's that nagging feeling, like just make the time and do it. There's nothing worse than, leaving this planet with regrets or this great idea and you never even tested it out,
Yeah,
I mean, true
that's so
entrepreneurs,
sad.
yeah, but true entrepreneurs, that's what drives them, fuels them, but they can get so distracted with so many things, right? Putting out fires, and they have HR issues, this, that, and the other. It can be hard to take the time and just sit and be still and figure it out. And that's what we love to do. I mean, we're all about making people's dreams a reality and celebrating with them,
Well, the other thing that really doesn't hurt is how calming and soothing your voice is.
Oh, thank you. Well, hopefully I'm not putting people to sleep, but
No. I think the idea of the fact that you have a very calming, soothing voice, it says a lot of things, right? It says that you know your stuff, that you're confident in what you're doing, and you've been able to do this many times before with so many other people, and that gives that comfort level to any new potential client coming to talk with you, right? You or anyone in the Zeta group, right?
yeah, thank you.
I think that is new people that haven't had a lot of experience doing these things, or at this level of business even. They're not going to be as confident and calm and everything about listening to the questions and at this point in your careers of all of the people in the Zeta group, there is no dumb question, and you've heard every question I'm sure possible in your career already. So being able to respond to people where they are, and they're not made to feel that of course you should have known that, or any of those other offhanded kind of things, right?
Yeah, no, on the contrary. I mean, I think of what I talk about today and I'm like, I wish I knew all this stuff like 20 years ago. I'd be so much better off. but it's, your career path and who you meet, and you're like, "What do you mean you can do that? I need to know more about that." And then, doing the deep dive and getting the study on it and actually getting into it. But it's really from, many years of talking and working with really successful entrepreneurs, I've had the pleasure of talking to Jim Paddleson and Sir Richard Branson and working with his team, and it's just reading and meeting great people going, "Oh, you can do that. I had no idea," you know? I remember before I sold trade credit insurance, I didn't know what that was. I'm like, "What is trade credit insurance? How do you use a policy like that to grow your business?" And it was fascinating to me. And then I ended up, selling it and working with all the banks and all the customers. And, I love hearing people's stories and how they got into business and what made them successful. And after a while, you just see certain patterns, right? So, yeah.
Yeah, that's for sure. I know that in my long career, I've also, again, there are no stupid questions because everyone's at a different point in their journey. So being able to have had the experience of, people throwing things at you from left field or asking a question that you haven't heard before or things like that and having a reason, it always lit me up to
Mm,
someone asking me a question and I didn't know the answer, but I was really eager to go and really deep dive into it and learn about it, find out about
mm,
it, so
mm,
that I could help them better.
mm.
A lot of
But I
times
think
we
it
don't
goes
do that
back
for
to
ourselves.
Yeah, and I think it goes back to mentors as well. I mean, people who love what they do and have been successful, if you find people you admire and, find them on LinkedIn, see if someone you know knows them. And if you just ask them, "Hey, can we have a coffee? Can we get on a Zoom call? I really want to know." If you're curious to know about their success and how they can help you, a lot of people will say yes to that. They love to pass on the knowledge. So you can learn a lot just from doing that. And it's always great to have mentors and people that are in your corner and rooting for your success, or people you can just call informally going, "Hey, I have these options. I don't know what to do next. What do you think? What's your experience?" I've always heavily relied on some very smart people as mentors, critical paths in my career and otherwise. And yeah, I think lots of people like to help people. A lot of successful people like to share their knowledge.
Yeah, and they're honored to share it as well. They're not
Yeah.
just, there's no begrudging it at all. They're quite happy to help someone else. Especially, it only costs a little bit of time, It
Mm.
doesn't cost money, it doesn't cost anything else. But, when they've already been where you're at
Yeah.
and they have the options put in front of them and they don't know how to tell the difference. I had a good example the other day. I was talking to a new client and he called me and said, "I just got a call from this company and from the CEO of this company, and they want to, start using our platform for their business." And they were asking me this question, so I let him tell me everything that the potential client had said, and I waited for him to finish, and then I said, "Well, the answer is yes, and." And he loved that. And it was almost like he was thinking too hard about it and he was getting stuck. He was getting
Mm.
himself stuck.
Yeah.
And when I said yes, and then there was a pause on the other end of the line, and then he started laughing. And he said, "I love that." And it goes back to the adage of, when someone asks you if you can do something, you say yes and figure it out. If you don't already know how to do it, or if you haven't thought about doing that in your company, or haven't thought about adding that as a service or something, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And being able to do that and just with so few words get him in exactly the mindset that he needed to be at that minute so that
Yeah.
he could go
Good
back and
coaching.
talk to them, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And it was so magnificent, and to have him, he was elated when he was able to, when he got off the call from me and he went back to the potential client. He was elated, so that would have come through in his energy and his voice and everything
Oh,
when he was talking to
absolutely.
them. So, are they going to go with him, or are they going to go with maybe some other choice that they had of the same kind of service? And, he ended up getting the client, of course, right?
Of course. Yeah. Yeah.
Because he was in that mindset. And again, like I said, there are no stupid questions. There are no, it doesn't matter how rudimentary it may seem when you're asking it. If you're asking the right person for their input, it makes all the difference. So I'm so grateful that we were able to connect and bring forward Zeta elevated results to the businesses that are listening in live and listening in on the replay. So I'm so excited about that. I did add the Zeta Corp website link at the top of the page for right now. If anyone wants to click on that and go check it out, maybe after we're done. We've got a few more minutes to go, so I'm going to let you have a chance to click on the link and take that with you to go have a look. And then in about 3 minutes, what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch the link back to the one-on-one call to schedule a calendar event with Pascale to have a one-on-one with her to ask any questions you might want to ask in confidence pertaining to your business and how you can elevate your results in your business. So let's go here now. Pascale, did you have anything else you wanted to highlight about how you're helping businesses, and who might be a business that maybe people wouldn't expect that their business could be a business that could be helped by Zeta?
Yeah, sometimes people think, oh, I have to be a big business or I have to be in a certain niche or industry. That's not the case. We're completely industry agnostic. And what we like to do as well is, talk to subject matter experts. So if you maybe are a business that has a special expertise that we don't know about, we'd love to learn about what you do and how it can help our clients. So, we're in the people business. We love to meet other people, and we like to learn and grow as well. So, as an example, I was introduced to a woman who specializes in providing uh, compensation plans for salespeople in a business. So, very, very niche, and she was very adamant about the fact that she's not a sales manager, she doesn't teach people how to sell, but she will structure compensation plans that make a big difference to salespeople, things like that. So, in addition to helping any type of business, we also like to meet subject matter experts. And yeah, there's no business too big or too small. One thing we can promise to do, if we can't find the right people to help you, if we can't help you ourselves, we will help you find someone. So that's our promise. And yeah, we love to talk business and see people thrive and grow and keep growing.
That's fantastic, Pascal. So I'm just looking here on the website, and I see another thing on here that is funds for an investment opportunity. Can you elaborate a little bit on that?
Yeah, so if you are looking for funding for your business, if you need any kind of financing, it's not our main thing that we do, but we do have a list of venture capitalists and investors. Typically, they like to invest in a certain niche. So if you're having a hard time getting grants or funding or shred or anything like that, we do have people that we work with that we can make some introductions to try to help you get off the ground. So we don't usually focus on startups, but like I said, we like to help everybody. So we work with a lot of people just because I've been in finance for so long. We have a lot of different partners in the alternative lending space, people who like to invest. As an example, I have a couple of friends where they like to invest in biotech in the biotech space, for instance. I have another friend who likes to invest anything to do with technology. And then I have one investor in Montreal where every time I talk to him, he goes, "Hey, be on the lookout on a business that does something completely different and they just need some money. I want to partner with them." So he's at a point in his life where he has a lot of extra cash and he wants to have fun helping businesses grow their business, but he wants it to be completely different. That's very rare that you hear someone that's that broad-minded. Usually people are very niche, but those are the kind of people that we have conversations with on a regular basis. So, it can't hurt to have a conversation. I would love to talk to whoever's listening to see how I can help you, and there's no expiry date on that. So.
That's fantastic, especially because I've enabled replays on this room so that people can go back and listen again, or it's like sometimes it doesn't sink in the first time you hear something, right? And then you know that you were here and you were listening live, and now the fact that you can go back and replay the episode or the show and have the next thing that you're ready to hear and understand a bit better. Oh yeah, okay, that was one thing that was talked about, and I wasn't ready for it before, but now I am. It's like when you're going through school, right? It's not about knowing everything. It's about knowing where to go and find the answer when you're ready for it, and the fact that there is an answer out there.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so that makes it a lot more fun as well. So I have switched the link back at the top of the page for Pascale's Calendly to get a 30-minute booking with her to just have a chat and see what's possible. There's no limitation on any kind of questions are fair game, and make sure that you give Pascale a call. She's a wonderful person to know. She's very well connected in the community, in the business community at large, and the fact that Zeta, the Zeta Corp company is not limited to a geographical area except for North America. That is also a testament to the work and experience that Pascale and her colleagues in the Zeta group have all brought together by working together to create this entity to be able to help businesses grow. So with that, Pascale, do you have any parting comments or anything that you'd like to share?
Not that I can think of. Just thanks again for inviting me to this. It's always fun, and I really do appreciate it. And I hope I get to talk to some of the listeners at some point in the future.
That's fantastic. And we're closing a little bit early, but what is here is gold. So I just wanted to, oh, hi, Yolanda. Thank you for joining us. We were just about to close the room. Did Allison or Yolanda, did either one of you have any questions you wanted to ask? You can raise your hand and I can bring you up on stage so you can ask it and we can hear you ask it. Or if you're a little more shy, please do put it in the chat on the bottom left corner of your screen, and I can read your question out loud and we can answer it for you. So I just want to make that opportunity available again for everyone. And okay, Yolanda. So I've just sent the invitation. There she is. Hi, Yolanda. Are you able to unmute? Okay,
good. I am. I just happened to push the Clubhouse icon button and hopped on here. What is today? Monday? Okay. I have people for that. I have to start remembering Monday evenings to join you, Christine. But great topic, how to get a team of mentors without having to find them yourself. That's amazing. And
just
I know you're getting ready to... Yeah, I was getting ready to close down the room, so I will be sure to follow up with you, Christine, and you can point me in the right
Oh,
direction.
thank you.
Well, I do see a Calendly here, but just in
There is,
case.
yeah. And that's a discovery meeting with Pascale. That's a 30-minute meeting, no obligation. And she can help you with just about anything in your business. So, yeah, I've known Pascale for many years, and she's very, very good at what she does. And she's really good at bringing people together. So whatever it is that you need, if she can't help you, it's usually one of us, one or the other of us that can. So
That's
thank you
great.
so much.
And I do want to say that your last show, where Allison was one of the speakers, I was able to connect with her, but I had a conflict, so I wasn't able to like nail down a meeting time. However, I just want to say, Christine, your title about I have people for that is really, really true. I'm imagining Pascale is just as fascinating as Allison and has so much insight and wonderful perspectives from the industry. So great job in curating wonderful speakers.
Oh, you're
Thank
the best,
you.
Yolanda. Thank you so much for that. Yeah, I'm going to give myself a little mini shout out because I just received my trademark for my I have people for that logo and my title of my business. So I am super excited. And yeah, it's a big milestone in a business to be able to do that and have that piece of paper that protects you and your image and your company from other people copycatting you. So
And
I'm
how long
very,
did it
very
take? You got to tell people that.
sorry. Say that again.
I said, how long did that take to get that?
Oh, well, yeah. Thank you, COVID. I started the process for this company in 2017. So for I have people for that, I applied for the trademark in 2017, and it took until 2 days ago for it to actually come through. So it was not a short-term process, but it's also not generally that long, I just want to say. But if anyone is looking to trademark what they've got going on, I highly recommend it. And just give me a shout, back channel me, anything like that through the app here. And I can help you get that put together with a company that does the service for a fixed fee. And that really means something in the industry of trademarking because the general business model for that is to charge you for everything that happens and every pushback from the powers that be and pushback from any other industry people that are they're using something similar and they want to just shut you down right away. So it is for a nominal cost to get that protection is just you can't even describe what it does to protect your entity. So yes, anyone that's interested in that, please let me know.
I am quite interested in that. In fact, I was just in a room not long ago that talked about TMs and Rs. And so I have to flesh it out a little bit, but perhaps you'd be willing to be my guest to talk a little bit about that in
Oh,
an
I would love
upcoming.
to do that.
Yeah, super.
Thank,
Good to
thank you
hear.
for the offer, Yolanda. That's fantastic. Yeah, and we can totally talk about that and how it's affected my business and the ways that I can use that. So thank you all for joining all the people that joined us live, and thank you to those listening on the replay. Please do take Pascale up on her offer by clicking the pinned link at the top of the screen and click on her lovely face, the image of her lovely face, to read her bio and follow her here on the app. And if you're enjoying the content, please go to the very top of the page and click on the little green house to follow the club and get notified when new rooms get opened. So good night, good people, and talk with you again next week.